Hi, I'm Mr. Liu, and I am your 7-Minute Sensei. This is the place where I summarize state strands and standards in 7 minutes or less. Sometimes late when things... Well, as you can see, we have a lot to cover. Our topic today is entrepreneurship. This course is designed to help students gain an understanding of the marketing and management principles necessary to start and operate their own business. Let's go ahead and start the clock. In Strand 1, you will learn to identify and recognize entrepreneurial traits, characteristics. So, Standard 1, what is the role of the entrepreneur in our economy? Well, it's a very important role, and so much that the government invests a lot of money, a lot of resources to help small businesses. What is an entrepreneur? Well, an entrepreneur is somebody who organizes and manages and starts a business. Entrepreneurs have a great deal of impact on our local economy and national economy as well. You may be familiar with some organizations now, such as the SBA, the Small Business Administration. Locally, we have offices like the Small Business Development Center, or the SBDC, or the local office of SCORE, which is the Corps of Retired Executives. Also, on a state level in Utah, we have something called the Governor's Office of Economic Development. That's GOED. Standard 2, you should understand the characteristics of an entrepreneur. So entrepreneurs, well, they are individuals that take initiative. They are innovators. They are risk takers. They are generally hard workers. These are some of the characteristics of an entrepreneur. In Standard 3, we learn about problem solving and idea generation. Entrepreneurs are problem solvers. They observe, they see problems, they see people struggling, and they use their entrepreneurial skills to make life easier, to automate, to make things routine, to solve problems. That's what the entrepreneur does. In Standard 3, you learn about different types of business models. You can start your own business, or you can purchase a franchise and work with a proven business model. You can look at emerging technologies, or you can look at social entrepreneurship, which is focused on some kind of good social cause. Now, how do entrepreneurs get funding? Well, you can go to a bank, of course, but you also can get funding through something called crowdfunding, and that's like organizations like Kickstarter. You can go to an angel investor, and that's typically an individual who not only can support you financially or help you launch a business, but they can also mentor you. And then they have something called venture capitalist, and there are many large venture capital companies, and they can also fund a lot more money than the angel investor typically can. You'll develop what's called a lean canvas, and this is an outline of your business plan, and you create something called the minimum viable product, or the MVP. And this is essentially a prototype that you can take to the market and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about. Would you be interested in something like this? And how much would you pay for that? And through this process, you learn how to fail quickly, and you learn through these mistakes, and you just get better and better. In Strand 2, you'll learn economic concepts, everything from opportunity cost, the law of scarcity, equilibrium, law of supply and demand, and where that supply curve and demand curve intersect, that's called equilibrium. That's an economic term. You'll also need to understand fixed expenses and variable expenses. So those variable expenses are, as the name implies, variable based on the quantity that you produce or the number of hours that you work. There are variable costs that either increase or decrease based on that volume. Whereas fixed expenses, These are things like rent, lease on a vehicle. These are fixed. You can't avoid them. You have to pay for those each month, no matter what. Break-even analysis is important to know. Break-even analysis is taking your fixed expenses and dividing that by your contribution margin. Your contribution margin is your sales price minus your variable cost, and that is your contribution margin. In strand 3, you'll understand how marketing works, and you'll learn things like market segmentation. So how do you segment your market and target market based on behavioristic, psychographics, demographics, geographics, and social graphics as well. And that's your social network. Moving on to standard 2, you learn the 4 P's of marketing. So that's product, price, promotion, place, and through fine-tuning of your marketing mix, building a better product for your customers. In strand 4, you learn about financial concepts, and so how these financial concepts will help you with your business decision making. So how much money do you need to start your business? What are your startup costs? Your ongoing operating expenses. Okay. And we've got standard 2, where we talk about the importance of keeping good business records, not only for tax purposes, but also for your insurance, legal purposes. Number of reasons why it's really good to keep good business records there. In strand 5, you'll learn the role of management principles. And so everything from, what does your mission statement look like? Is it energizing? Is it motivating? Your mission statement explains what you do. To your organizational structure, should be a flat organization. If you're a small business, you probably won't want multiple levels of management. In strand 6, the final strand, you'll learn about different types of business ownership, right? You can have a sole proprietorship, which is usually an individual or an individual and their spouse, to a partnership, to a limited liability company, which is sort of a hybrid between a partnership and a corporation. To a corporation, you can have multiple corporation types. So a C Corp is your typical, like your Amazon, your Apple, your Microsoft. These are C Corps. S Corps are smaller in size. They have a limit of 100 shareholders, and it's a different tax structure. That's the major difference. Well, folks, we've run out of time. Let me just point out to you at the bottom here of the Strand and Standards documents, you'll see that you have a breakdown on questions. You'll have a total of 50 questions, 58 points. The one area that you'll have the least amount of questions is in Strand 5. Okay? Hey, this is Mr. Liu. I am your 7-minute sensei, and I'd like to say adios, aloha, arrivederci, ciao, auf Wiedersehen, au revoir, sayonara, shalom, saijian, and goodbye.